Mark Rutte and President von der Leyen for a statement. President von der Leyen.
Thank you very much, dear Mark. It's a pleasure to welcome you today to the 5th Security College. We've called this meeting to discuss the security situation in the European Union and, of course, to hear your views. Preserving peace has always been a core task of the European Union. Certainly over the years, the instrument changed, but the aim is always the same. And it has been now 3 years and 7 months since Russia invaded Ukraine. Ukraine continues to resist on the battleground, ceding virtually no territory this year. That is impressive. You know the figure that in the last 1,000 days, Russia only captured 1% of the occupied territory of Ukraine, and this despite more than a quarter of a million Russian lives lost on the battlefield. And Russia is increasingly economically under pressure. If you look at the interest rates, they are at 17%. Inflation is well above 10%. And I believe firmly that we are at a moment where decisive action on our side can lead to a turning point in this conflict. We have taken already unprecedented steps in the last month. Our white paper has outlined our strategic priorities and the strategic direction. And we have proposed new ways of funding. You know our instrument SAFE, that is now in record time up and running. And tomorrow at the informal European Council, we will discuss the way forward. On European defence, I see 3 relevant topics. The first is capabilities. Yeah. Member states have a single set of forces, and they assign this single set of forces to a NATO mission, an EU mission, United Nations mission, or coalition of the willing. And therefore, in close cooperation with NATO, we need capabilities that are interoperable, most important. And to achieve this, we need more joint procurement. The second is we need defence flagships. If you look at the flagship project Eastern Flank Watch, for example, we need to act now. Europe must deliver a strong and united response to Russia's drone incursions at our borders, and that is why we will propose immediate actions to create the drone wall as part of the Eastern Flank Watch. We must move together forward with Ukraine and with NATO. And the third element is we need defence industrial readiness. A ramped-up, resilient and innovative European defence industry is key. The industry needs to deliver at speed and at scale. That is absolutely important, and to produce state-of-the-art military equipment. This is, in a nutshell, our preview on some of the key elements of the scoping paper that we will discuss tomorrow in Copenhagen. And in 2 weeks, then, we will present, in cooperation with NATO, the full version of our Readiness Roadmap 2030. Finally, a word on Ukraine. We have advanced on several work strands. The first is we are increasing the economic pressure on Russia. The sanctions are working. If you look at Russia's GDP last year in 2024, it was 4.3%. Now it's projected to go down to 0.9% in 2025. So we need to increase the pressure. And to this end, we have proposed a new sanctions package with robust measures on energy, financial services and trade. Most important, one key element is the prohibition of LNG imports from Russia to the European Union. Second, we need to provide military assistance to Ukraine. If we continue to believe that Ukraine is our first line of defense, we have to step up the military assistance to Ukraine. Therefore, concretely, we have agreed with Ukraine that a total of 2 billion euros will be spent on drones now. This allows Ukraine to scale up and to use its full capacity, and of course it will also allow the European Union to benefit from this technology. However, we need a more structural solution for military support, and this is why I have put forward the idea of a reparations loan that is based on the immobilized Russian assets. The loan would not be dispersed in one go, but in tranches and with conditions attached. And we will strengthen our own defense industry by ensuring that part of the loan is used for procurement in Europe and with Europe. Importantly, there is no seizing of the assets. Ukraine has to repay the loan if Russia is paying reparations. If Russia is paying reparations, the perpetrator must be held responsible. Thank you very much, and over to you, Mark.
Thank you very much. And basically all you said I can completely agree with. Let me first start with saying that the cooperation we are having is excellent. From day one when I started, we completely worked together as one team, which is extremely important. And also on the assumption that we have a clear division of labor. NATO is strong at standard setting, at capability targets, and the EU has this enormous power of the internal market. As you said, making sure that the defense industrial base is developed, making sure that the money and the assets are there to support Ukraine. And also when it comes to the drone wall initiative, I think that was an excellent idea, and there was a first meeting last Friday, and NATO was participating. Also bringing together the eastern flank states in NATO working on this big issue. And why is that important? Because first of all, we have to keep our skies safe. And we have seen over the last couple of weeks what happened with the drones in Poland, the MiG-31s in Estonia, but also what is happening now in Denmark. In Denmark, we are still assessing what is behind it. But when it comes to Poland and Estonia, it's clear that it is the Russians. Still, we are assessing whether it is intentional or not. But even if it is not intentional, it is reckless and it is unacceptable. So we need to protect our skies. So the drone wall initiative is timely and necessary. Because in the end, we cannot spend millions of euros or dollars on missiles to take out the drones, which are only costing a couple of $1,000s. So we need the drone wall. But also when it comes to Ukraine, as you said, Ursula, it is our first line of defense. We are helping the Ukrainians because this is about our values, but also about, indeed, first line of defense, our collective safety. So it is crucial that they sustain in the fight, so we keep supporting them. The Americans have opened again the floodgates through the Pearl Initiative of their lethal and non-lethal weapons. I think that's extremely important, paid for by allies. But everything the European Commission is now doing through SAVE and other initiatives to bring Ukraine to the best possible place is crucial, both in the fight but also when it comes to potential peace talks, for them to be then in the strongest possible position. So for all of this, our cooperation from day one, we were friends already when I was still Prime Minister and you already President of the Commission. It's really, really wonderful. And we do this at all levels, I can assure you. This is not just the President of the Commission and me, but in NATO and EU, at all levels we work together to make sure that we make maximum use, leverage each other's strength in this whole endeavor. So thank you again. And also for hosting me today.
Yeah, let's go
Great.
to the... Thank you.
Thank you.
Wish you a nice day.
Thank you.